Hello everybody, the Great Dino Ranger here again, back with another video. So we're going to start things off by taking a look at all of the things that I'm going to be reviewing out of everything that I've gotten for Christmas. And we're going to start small, and we're going to take a look at both of these smaller Jurassic World Hammond collection figures, the Mussaurus and the Ornitholestes. So really psyched to have these two species in the Hammond collection. I know these are not based off of anything from the movies, but these are based off of species from the novels, the original Jurassic Park and the Lost World novels. So that itself is pretty cool. And it's nice to have more, I guess, detailed, articulated versions of these two species. So I'm really happy to take a look at these two. Briefly looking at the packaging, you know, they look really nice. You got the Hammond Collection Mussaurus, True Effects, Jurassic World up there. And then you got a nice little render of the Mussaurus, which is just like another, I guess, illustration probably, because these are not based off of renders. Same with the Ornitholestes. Ornitholestes looks pretty cool, very raptor-like. And you got the Hammond Collection logo on both sides. And then you got like a brief little description. Well, first you just got like the full rendered image of the two species, and you got roughly the same description, just with different species. So like this one just says the Mussaurus has increased posability, multiple points of articulation, and dynamic accessories for epic scene creations. It says the exact same thing for this one, except it's just for the Ornitholestes. So interestingly, it's not an actual description of the species. It's just telling you that, oh, this figure has a lot of articulation and a lot of accessories, so you can pose it however you want. So that's very interesting. Would have maybe preferred a description on the actual species, but that's all right. I mean, we're primarily just here for the figures anyway. But here on the back, it shows you the same description on the side. They both say Jurassic World, which is pretty interesting. Would have been cool if they came with the logo that's associated with them from their novel counterparts. Like the Mussaurus should have been Jurassic Park, and that the Ornitholestes should have been like the Lost World, which I believe it only showed up in the Lost World as a carcass, but I could be totally wrong. Then you got nice little rendered pictures here of the figure in different poses. Same with the Ornitholestes, looking really nice. Then it shows you the others in the lineup, which they're all the same, except there's the Dryosaurus, which I'm really looking forward to getting that one, because that's a species brand new that's only exclusive to the Hammond collection so far. So I'm really looking forward to that. You can see the True Effects premium details for enhanced realism. I mean, the Hammond collection figures are very nice, so that makes a lot of sense. So that's it for the packaging. Let's go ahead and take a closer look at these two figures. Alrighty, so here we have both of the Hammond collection Mussaurus and Ornitholestes out of the package and put together. And these are really great looking figures. For non-movie species, these are both really great looking. One of the things that stood out to me the most between these two is how good of a length they are. Like, this is a pretty good sized figure for a smaller dinosaur being fit in that somewhat of a small packaging, but of course the tail's detached. But even when you put the tail on, like the Mussaurus right here, it's a really good length, and the Ornitholestes too has a really good length as well. Though I always saw the Ornitholestes always being portrayed with a long tail anyway, so that itself is pretty accurate in its own way, I guess, depending on if those images I saw before were accurate or not. But yeah, both of these look really great. Great sculpt work, great detail. I like the colors. Briefly taking a look at the Mussaurus here, it looks really nice. Here you can see on the head, really good, interesting head sculpt. I'm not sure if it's entirely accurate with Mussaurus. I'm not too familiar with the way the head sculpt is, but this one's definitely very interesting. It's a very interesting curve on the front of the mouth. You can see a little bit of a beak, somewhat sculpted in. Got the nostrils and the little eyes, which look really good for not being glass eyes, because these are the first of the smaller creatures to not have glass eyes. So that itself is pretty interesting, but they look really good. The inside of the mouth is pretty good as well. Kind of large, sharp looking teeth. I'm not sure if that's what they were trying to portray. It's probably just smaller teeth, because Mussaurus was an herbivore. You can see the little ear hole where that would be. The rest of the head, nice sculpt work all over the body. I like these little bumps you get on the top of the head, down the neck, and all over the top of the back. So kind of very similar to the Jurassic Park Triceratops. And those osteoderms pretty much go all the way down to the tail. So that looks really nice. Overall, a really great silhouette for the Mussaurus. This could actually pass for a baby Plateosaurus, I would say, which we still haven't gotten a Plateosaurus from Mattel yet either, but nice muscle definition in the entire body. You can see where the muscles are poking through the skin right there, which is highlighted very nicely with the shadows based on your light source. So that looks really nice. Even here on the arms, really nice detail in the muscles and the sculpt. Nice and long too, so you can get in that nice quadruped pose. Here in the front, you can see it looks really nice, and here on the other side, just as good. The hind legs look really nice as well, big, nice, and muscular. You can see some more of the large osteoderms on the side right there, and just some nice muscle work. The feet look really great too, with the scoots and the 4 toes. I'm not sure if the 4 toes is entirely accurate, so I'm not 100% sure. Same with the hands right here. Again, 4 fingers, nice scoots, nice detail on them. I'm not sure if that's accurate as well. Here on the underside, some nice textured work on the underbelly. Some nice more skin wrinkles and stretches on the back right here, and some more detail along the tail. Looking very nice. So I really do love the detail on these smaller Hammond collection figures. So yeah, this one looks really nice, and I really love the colors. Mussaurus always works with like blue colors, because that's pretty much the main color that Mattel has been adding to their Mussaurus figures. Their very first one from the Dino Rivals line, that one was all blue. And then this one's all blue. They had another one, but that one was all brown. But primarily they've been using like this blue color, which looks really nice and very fits with this Mussaurus. Which I like the dark grayish blue tone for the primary color of the body, and you got like this beige underbelly from the neck all the way down to just before the tail, and then it goes on the arms and the legs and the arms. So nice transition between 2 colors. I like the dark, kind of like a dark green for the nails, which are really nice. So it's nice to see both the fingers and the toes painted. And then you got nice blue striping. So you got like a dark blue striping from the head all the way down to the neck, and that fades into like this really light blue with a little bit of a darker turquoise kind of outlining the stripes. And then here at the end, you got more of a light color, and it fades into a more of a turquoise blue, and even got a little bit of some of that light blue mixing in with the dark blue over here. So really beautiful colors, nice patterns on this Mussaurus. And then the eyes are a great color as well, the orangish yellowish with the black pupil. Even on the inside of the mouth, you got some white looking teeth. On the inside of the mouth is like a pink fleshy color. Kind of hard to see, but that is really cool. And then for articulation, as you saw, you got an articulated jaw, and then the head can move up about that far, down about that far, and it can rotate just like that. Here at the neck, it can go down about that far, move up about that far, and that one can also rotate. So after that, you can get some really nice movements and poses with the neck and the head. So that is really cool. Really fun to pose around this guy, because I was already fiddling around with this one before even doing this review. And then here at the arms, they can pivot in and out. They can move forward and backwards. Same with the elbows, forward and backwards, and they can rotate. And the little hands can rotate forward and backwards. And then here at the hips, they can move forward and backwards as well. They can even pivot in and out a little bit. Here at the knee joint, forward and backwards, rotate, and the ankles, which is really nice to see ankles on these smaller ones too. You don't get a whole lot of that, so that might be brand new. The ankles can move forward and backwards, and they can rotate. So really great articulation on this one. And then the tails, your standard left and right, up and down rotation, and it's on a bendy wire, so you can bend it. So that itself is really cool. And then another thing you can do too is it comes with extra hands, so extra pieces, which is really nice. Very different for these Hammond collection figures, which these hands are in a closed position, so you can make this guy in a standing upright position with the difference in the hand placement. So that itself is really nice, and we'll show that off later at the end of the video. Now let's move on to the Ornitholestes. This one looks really great. Again, I love the length of the tail. It's a pretty thick tail too, but overall great looking silhouette on this one. It pretty much matches your current look at Ornitholestes. You know, there's no crest on its nose. It's got a somewhat of a sickle claw sticking off the ground, so very similar to raptors, even though it was not a raptor. But yeah, I love the head sculpt. It's very raptor-like, with especially with the eyes right there. But really nice detail here on the inside of the mouth, which you can see the jaw is articulated. Nice sharp-looking teeth with some nice pink fleshy tones on the inside of the mouth and the little gum flaps on the side. Really nice detail here on the lower jaw. And then throughout the entire body, it's a mix between feathers and skin. So here on the neck, you have some really nice skin detail. I believe those are, yeah, I think those are feathers on the underside, but all this is just skin here on the body. You got some more beautiful skin detail here on the fingers right there. Very nice detail, fine detail on that small little hand. Nice detail on the arms. Great muscle work throughout the entire body just to kind of make it pop. Some nice texture on the skin right there. Even here on the legs, really nice work on the scales, and that goes all the way down. Nice work on part of the shin right here. So great detail on the muscles as well. And then the long, skinny bird-like legs. And then the feet look really good as well. Pretty much like raptor feet. So you got nice detail on the bottoms. Nice work, detail on the claws and the toe claws. Same with the little dew claw back there, which unfortunately is not painted. And one of the things I noticed, I have two of the same, this part of the leg, because as you can see, they're both the same. They both have the little wordings on them, so it's the same piece on both sides, but it's not the most terrible thing. It's kind of easy to miss it, and it doesn't prohibit the articulation at all, so I'm not terribly upset about that. What's also cool is that you got some nice feather work, some nice feathers on the top of the head right here, looking very nice and fine. Nice work there, Mattel, and that continues all the way down to the underside right here. And then you got some more feathers on the top, which are really nice, nicely sculpted. Kind of remind me of the Pyroraptor a little bit. But yeah, the detail looks really nice. You got some more smaller feathers, and then the entire tail, at least the top half, is covered in like these really large, almost scale-like feathers on it. So those look really nice, and those stop all the way down to the, at least almost to the tip of the tail. And on the underside, it's just primarily just smoother skin detail, but really nice overall. I really like the combination between feathers and skin, and Mattel did a wonderful job on the Ornitholestes. Colors, I love the colors. Very simple. I don't know what color the Ornitholestes was primarily in the book that it's from, so it's kind of, it is what it is. So, but either way, I do love the colors here on this one. I like the brown, a light brown color, and then the light beige on the underside with them like dark reddish brown for like that transitions into the legs, a little bit here on the throat area, some highlighted here on the face, and then on the top side of the body with the feathers with a little bit of a dark faint color on top of the feathers right here, so kind of make them pop. And you got some nice black color for the claws, both on the fingers and the feet. Some nice more tones on the face right here. Nice bright yellow eye with the black slit pupil. And yeah, I really do like the colors. Very natural. This would fit perfect in a foresty environment, so that I do like. So Mattel did an awesome job with the colors. Articulation, as you saw, articulated jaw, which looks really nice. Here at the head, kind of stiff on mine, but it can move up and down, as well as, well, kind of rotate, very stiff. So be careful if yours are stiff. And then the neck can go up and down, so you can get some really nice poses with the head and the neck. That one can also rotate as well. Here on the arms, pivot in and out, forward and backwards a little bit. Same with the elbow joints, forward and backwards, and it can rotate. Same with the hands, forward and backwards, and rotate. And then here at the legs, forward and backwards, they can pivot in and out. And then the knee joint, forward and backwards, rotate. And then the ankle, again, really awesome how we have an ankle joint here that can move forward and backwards and rotate. And then the feet as well can move forward and backwards, or up and down as well as rotate. So yeah, you can get a lot of great poses with these smaller figures. And then the tail, typical Hammond collection tail, up, down, left, right, it can rotate. And you got a bit of a bendy wire, which is a bit more stiff on this one because it's a bit of a thicker tail, but still, it's a very cool one. And this one also comes with extra hands, which these hands are in a closed position. So maybe it's like it's closing its hands, like it's grabbing something, or it's prowling. Pretty interesting how they added that in, but still, it is very cool. For brief little comparisons, here we got some of the original versions of these dinosaurs. Here we got the original Mussaurus from Mattel from 2019. As you can see, they are drastically different, but very similar in terms of the colors. But yeah, very interesting. And obviously the size difference is different as well. But still, they look really nice together for the most part, despite a difference in detail and articulation and proportions and all that. But these two definitely look really good, and it's nice to have an updated version of a Mussaurus, even though this one was pretty good too. And then for the Ornitholestes, here we have the original Ornitholestes, which is the only one that Mattel ever released from the Primal Attack line of 2020. And as you can see, there's a huge difference between both of them in just proportions, sculpt, detail, appearance or design. So that is very interesting, but they both support the no crest on its nose deal. But you can see the two difference in the head sculpt, especially the teeth. So very interesting there. This one isn't even covered in feathers, but this one is. Two different colors. This one's actually more of a Coelophysis than an Ornitholestes in my opinion, and as you can see, this one doesn't really have the sickle claw like this one does. So Mattel kind of focused a bit more on accuracy, at least a little bit when it came to the Hammond Collection one, but pretty cool to see both of these two compared with one another. Alright, and real quick before we end this video, I decided to change some of the hand pieces on these ones. So as you can see on the Mussaurus, I changed it from the flat hands right here to the curled up one, so you can actually position this one in its standing position. So that is really cool. You almost get like two figures in one. You can position some walking on two legs and some walking on all fours. So that is really cool. I hope Mattel does something like this for a Hadrosaur. Whether if it's a new Parasaurolophus or a new Hadrosaur, we need something like this so you can position it in all fours or on two legs. So that is a huge plus right there. And for the Ornitholestes, not much difference. You can see one hand has the curled fingers and one has them open. So you can get a bit, kind of some different looks between individuals here and there, just to kind of give it some personality for certain shots or display. But I only changed one of them just to kind of compare both of them. But still, the change, the different accessories and hand pieces is really good. And I definitely support this for future Hammond Collection figures. So yeah, that's about to wrap it up for this review, everyone. Please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys again for the next video.